Thank you so much. It is Wednesday edition of the Camnet TV, where we talk nothing but the very best of governance, policy, and indeed politics on the Wednesday edition of the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Nelson Zulu, and at a later stage, I'll be joined by my colleague, Mr. Patrick Soko, who's going to be with you, or who's going to be part of this conversation up to the hour 9, and we shall delve into a lot of issues surrounding what is currently happening in the country, and also we shall be transitioning at the main interview at a particular time where we shall talk all issues relating to what is the way forward in terms of the demolitions that we've seen in the parts of Lusaka being witnessed, especially from the side of the Lusaka City Council, as well as issues of cholera. How are we bracing ourselves in terms of ensuring that we keep safe and look out for what should be the best practices in as far as curbing this disease is concerned. But right about now, we go directly into our health corner, where we get to look at issues relating to the health challenges, or issues relating to the health insights that our doctors do have for us this morning.
Hi, good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show. And today we are on the Health Corner. We're going to be talking about stroke. Yesterday we talked about what is stroke, and we say that a stroke is a brain injury that occurs when there's a blockage in the blood vessels in the brain, or there's a bleed in the blood vessels in the brain that causes a reduction in oxygen levels in the brain, and also blood supply generally to areas of the brain. So today we'll talk about exactly what causes someone to have a stroke, and also the risk factors that predispose someone to have a stroke. So like we have already mentioned, a stroke comes about when there is a blockage in the brain blood vessels, and also if there is a bleed in the brain, that causes a stroke. So what are some of the risk factors that somebody predispose someone to have a stroke? So one of them is diabetes. So people who have diabetes are prone to have stroke because of the high blood sugar levels that can lead to so many other complications in the body that can predispose them to have hypertension, predispose them to have high cholesterol. So people who have diabetes need to be able to check their cholesterol levels, their blood pressure levels. The other thing is your BP, of course. Hypertension is a risk factor for having stroke. So hypertension will not only cause a blockage in the brain, it can also cause you to have a bleed in the brain. If you have high blood pressure and your pressure or your blood pressure increases to become very high, it can cause you to have a stroke because of the high blood pressure that is there in the blood vessels. So it can cause a bleed in the brain, and it can cause hemorrhagic stroke. The other risk factor is high cholesterol, like I have already mentioned. If you have high cholesterol, especially the bad cholesterol, which is known as the LDL cholesterol, this cholesterol can cause clots, or not really clots, but it can cause clumps that can cause blockages in the blood vessels, in the brain especially, and this can lead to having an ischemic stroke. The other thing that can predispose someone to have a stroke is age. So people who are older in age are more likely to also have stroke, and also males are more likely to have stroke than females. However, when a stroke attacks, when a female gets a stroke, they are more likely to die from the stroke than males. So the other risk factors include inactivity. If you do not exercise, you are always not exercising and not being active, you predispose yourself to having stroke. The other risk factors include not eating healthy foods, and also not or taking too much alcohol and smoking tobacco. So alcohol is not good for our health. Even smoking is not good for our health as well. So if we engage in alcohol and tobacco smoking, then we are increasing our chances of having so many lifestyle diseases, and stroke is one of them. So these are some of the risk factors that predispose someone to have a stroke. So today we are learning that there are some causes of stroke that can, some risk factors that can predispose someone to have stroke, and these include having diabetes, having hypertension, and having high cholesterol can predispose you to have stroke. Also, we say that not exercising, not eating healthy, and smoking tobacco and drinking alcohol can also increase your chances of having a stroke.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nakubiana Mufwa, just trying to get us through in terms of the causes of stroke. It is at that time of the year also that you don't have to stress yourself, because also stress has got some sort of contribution when it comes to one contracting stroke. But you better be healthy and ensure that you are up to speed in terms of what is really happening to you, and also go for medical checkups. I think this is one thing that has to be embraced, especially here in Zambia, where we see a lot of people only want to go to the hospital when they feel like, okay, are you a fan of that as well, Patrick, even as you get to join me?
Interesting. Well, funny enough, the person saying only goes to the clinic when they have a leg issue, and they are busy trying to criticize others and even attribute the problem to me. So I'm just wondering, I'm like, what is happening here? Yeah, but sad, you are also a culprit, but just like you have advised us, make sure that you also lead by example.
Well, I'm making some strides in the background. I'm making some strides.
Yes, so you don't need to go to the clinic only when you are sick. You can go for a checkup. People just examine you, so that you are proactive. You know that medical science has really advanced, and if you are detected earlier, chances of surviving any challenge usually are high. But if you wait up to the situation deteriorates into a worse position, it becomes difficult for you to actually come out of it. So they say prevention is better than cure, and we have to be respecting that say, because it really is true. Prevention is better than cure. So our dear viewers, you are watching the Camnet Breakfast Show, Wednesday edition, governance, policy and politics, with me, Patrick Soko, and Nelson Zulu. And today we are going to delve into matters bordering on the local authority, the Lusaka City Council. We are going to be discussing all things being equal, matters related to cholera, the matters related to the demolition. I know you'd want to understand what has been happening in the city of late, and the Lusaka City Council has been accused of taking a reactive approach, and that is detrimental to many citizens, as they feel the council is affecting them in terms of their source of living. It is undermining their livelihoods. So we are going to be looking into that a little later here on the Camnet Breakfast Show. But for now, we cannot go to any other segment before us understanding how the Kwacha is performing this morning, and that's what we want to understand right about now. So now we're saying that the euro is buying at 27 kwacha 27 ngwe and selling at 27 kwacha 80 ngwe. The Greater British Pound is buying at 31 kwacha 69 ngwe and selling at 32 kwacha 32 ngwe. The one South African rand is buying at 1 kwacha 35 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 37 ngwe. $1 is buying at 24 kwacha 80 ngwe and selling at 25 kwacha 37 ngwe. So those are your money market updated this morning being the 20th of December 2023 at 0716 as per financial institution that we do monitor here on Camnet TV, but they do vary from one bureau de change to the other, one bank to the other, or financial institution to the other, but the changes are not significant. They are just minimal decimals. So now let's also now look at another interesting aspect pertaining to the kwacha. So we are seeing that the kwacha is in a free fall mode, in that it is fluctuating like a yo-yo. It's no longer fluctuating like a yo-yo. It is sinking, going under, and that is not good for us as a country. Talking about 25 kwacha is the whole time high this currency has reached, especially in modern day Zambian politics and economics. So we are wondering what is being done by the Ministry of Finance and the central bank. We understand probably the central bank has exhausted almost all the mechanisms that they need to put in place. But however, we are seeing that most of the measures that they have put in place haven't been able to work wonders in terms of us making a lot of traction to strengthen our local currency there. Then the other aspect also borders on inflation. The target for the 2022 national budget was to keep inflation in check under a single digit, but however, we are seeing that inflation is double digit, and that is not good for us as a country. It speaks to how prices of commodities are increasing. They are increasing at a faster pace, even higher than the pace people are able to earn money, and that becomes difficult for people to survive. So we continue to remain optimistic that the responsible entities will continue to do everything necessary to make sure that the kwacha is stabilized. However, there's no medicine, no cure to good kwacha performance other than maximizing the export portfolio for the country, and that's what we are expecting to see. However, the 2022 national budget also is not very big on industrialization, and we can only hope on foreign direct investments that the government has been seeking, that probably the injection of capital in the mining sector, in other critical sectors, may help to increase the country's export portfolio. Understandably, mining is Zambia's major exporting commodity. Mining contributes more towards our foreign exchange, but mining hasn't been performing as expected, given the challenges that we have seen Mopani and Konkola copper mines are confronted with. We understand that we have made some progress in terms of the KCM Vedanta issue, and we hope that those investment pledges that were being made by Vedanta have to come to fruition, so that the mine should start working at optimum level and be able to earn us a lot of revenue. So now again, we also hope and we are also optimistic that matters bordering on injection of capital, more capital in the Mopani mine, will also be expedited for us as a country to make sure that we continue to export. But also on the global economy, we have seen that China has slightly slowed down in terms of how it is importing minerals like copper, and that is also reflecting on the prices and also the slow demand there. So we can no wonder we are talking about diversifying Zambia's export portfolio. That is us as a country looking at non-traditional exports other than copper. How do we maximize on exporting manganese? How do we maximize on exporting gold? And how do we make sure that we are adding value to our minerals? That will speak to how we can export finished products, finished goods to other countries. That would that process would enable us to have revenue that is needed for us as a country to be able to make to have a lot of money, dollars in the economy, and support our kwacha. So, like I said, the solution to the kwacha being strengthened and being resilient over time depends on how we industrialize as a country, and how we make sure that we maximize on exports, especially from our neighboring countries who are seeking a lot of services from us, like the Democratic Republic of Congo, Malawi, Tanzania, Angola. We are a land-linked country. I see a lot of opportunities that we are able to maximize as a country that is linked to about 8 neighboring countries, and beyond that, we are able to export our products. So we need to just make sure that we get our act together and be able to conquer Africa. We know when we're talking about issues bordering on the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we're talking about SADC treaties, we're talking about COMESA treated, and these regional bodies. How do we maximize trade, and how do we make sure that we are not a dumping ground for foreign goods, and make sure that we are also making sure that we are exporting more? These are measures that are going to ultimately impact positively on this country's economy. So that was my lengthy submission pertaining to of the Kwacha, Nelson. And what do we have next? Where do we go to from here?
Yeah, and I was like, okay. Does he want to now transition into being an economist? But anyway, let's transition or get into our next segment, which is zooming the headlines, where we also get to look at stories that...
Before we zoom in the headlines, first of all, you got to have the right attitude for it. Are you sure it is a positive Wednesday?
It is a positive Wednesday. Indeed.
But you haven't assured us, because you just went in and we were worried to say, I think it's okay.
There's assurance that indeed it's a positive Wednesday, and you too need to be positive and join us and be part of this conversation by simply calling in or leaving us with a perception or a perspective on the issues that we're going to be discussing on our Facebook platform, YouTube platform, as well as maybe SMSs. So it is a positive Wednesday. I mean, let's get to dive into that. We're almost finishing the year. Yeah,
is Wednesday still a ladies' night?
No, Wednesday is not a ladies' night. Come on. Wednesday.
Yes.
No.
I'm sure. If you're going to take away the Wednesday from the ladies, they are going to say you are not gender sensitive.
No.
Because every time at the club we say Wednesday.
We've also introduced Monday for women. We've also introduced Monday, Inspirational Monday, where we get to look at women that are really doing the most in as far as maybe adding value to the country.
So you tell us, what are we zooming in this morning?
Yes, let's get to zoom in at some of the stories relating to floods. Yeah, I'm sure this is, I don't know if we should call it a celebration or annual event that comes at the time of the rainy season or the festive season, where people get to complain much about the floods and issues relating to drainages. Yeah, and so this story is a story from Chawama, where some residents whose houses were flooded due to diverted drainage have bemoaned the lack of agency by authorities in a matter to endanger their lives and properties. The affected residents have told Camnet News that they are now living in fear of a disaster with the rains that have started intensifying in most parts of the city. That's a story that we get to look at. You can also be part of this conversation by coming through and giving us your perspective in terms of how is the situation in your area. Are you also flooded? What is being done by the local authorities in your area? Are they helping matters? Those are issues that you can bring out to us by simply calling in or giving us a perspective on our Facebook platform as well as YouTube.
We have a similar story where also that is talking about cholera there. Yes. I think they need to go in tandem. And, when we're going to be having, for example, fecal matter mixing with water, because you know that in these communities we have pit latrines, most of them.
Yeah.
So the latrines, the water runs into a toilet. It goes away with fecal matter. Fecal matter contaminates with that water on the ground, and chances are high. We also have some pipes that have leakages, and so when we are talking about cholera, Nelson, some of those things are contributing highly.
Yes, and indeed we've seen a surge in terms of cholera cases. We've seen so far about 60 deaths have been recorded as a result of cholera that has outbroken even here in Lusaka and some parts of the country. And an interesting story also that we saw yesterday in our bulletin was that of some residents of Lusaka's Chilenje Township challenging the Lusaka City Council to be consistent in collecting garbage in all parts of the city to combat cholera. One of the residents, Exuda, tells Camnet News that the garbage is among the major contributing factors to the increasing cases of cholera being recorded in some parts of Lusaka. And if you've seen, these cases are more pronounced when you go to Kanyama, go to Chawama, go to these other compounds. So I think it's a right call, and it's also indeed some interesting aspect, because we also get to have a voice in terms of what the city fathers are doing about it later on, as the Assistant Public Relations Manager from Lusaka City Council will be joining us on set and look at how these issues also are being handled to ensure that we see maybe a reduction or a prevention, if at all there are such efforts that are being made.
Indeed. So let's have a look at these two stories, and we'll be back on the other side. And we'll be getting your comments and contribution on the program. But those of you watching us via social media platforms, you can leave us a message. Tell us where you are watching us from. We'll be glad to know that.
Early this week, short drainage works in Lusaka's Chawama compound left several houses flooded. Camnet TV news crew on Sunday, 17th December 2023, visited the area where it was discovered that the drainage that has been diverted at Cheshire Homes was abandoned, and after heavy rains of Saturday night and Sunday morning, it burst into houses. However, the lax response from the leadership in the area has concerned the residents, who fear that property and lives are in danger if the right thing is not done before the rains intensify.
Dandaulako drainage ina problem. Drainage muli ntambo ya lights. Ere futi kuno kuli bana bakagweramo olopina ngusi bana olomukulu akakolewa ngagweremo aza ingampaye chifika light ya danger siaseveresa. Please drainage sifunika ukuya ifunika kuside yawo batitandizire manzi anatingenera maningi manyumba ndiye dandaula metiri nayo.
Another resident, Michael Jerem, says the efforts to engage the contractor and the area councillor have not yielded any result and want a quick response and solution to the problem.
I talked to the contractor. The contractor was nowhere to be seen, but later on the following day he called me to tell me to say he doesn't have the money to buy the culverts so that they come and cut here and put the culverts here. But up to now, the contractor did not contact me again from yesterday. So today, this morning, I was talking to the councillor from Ward 2, because the councillor for Ward 3 is nowhere to be seen up to now. He didn't even come to the scene where this problem happened. Up to now, we are not addressed. We are not addressed to say this drainage is going to, what is going to happen next is this and this. Up to now, we are still in dilemma. So the other day, we just helped ourselves by hiring someone to come and give us this system, this one load of rubbles, so that we block this water. So up to now, we are still waiting for the feedback. What are we going to do? Because this drainage was not supposed to be this side, this drainage. This drainage was supposed to be that side, because that's where the people, that's where the houses of people are there, and they are having floods there.
Mr. Jerry further says the drainage is being constructed where it has no impact, and even when completed, it will serve no purpose.
The drainage is of drainage. So we don't know why drainage inapitira kuno, because papatuka pacha manzi yameacho wa kujona wadi as far as the bomola yonse yabwera kuno yabwera ya meeting ya pati papatuka. So papatuka pale makauvetsi yabili yamene yalipo makauvetsi yaja makauvetsi yaja contractor vaenza fuko chita ni kufusula yaja makauvetsi yabili yaja so that manzi yapeze osta bwanji koenda. Then drainage ilipo kudala mine yenda state ipeleka kuchawama manzi haya. But manzi yapeze kwa ti drainage vaista divert kubwera kuno. Then vaideta kuno basekula drainage hii yamene ilibe kopeleka manzi. Because olokamene yenda drainage huko. The other day people were complaining because manzi yapeze katina kweve kuja na wangenera manzi futa again. So that's why we are complaining. Hii drainage ifika ichoke huku ibwele ukulima nyumba.
When contacted for a comment, Area Councillor Ponsirio Piri could not respond to this reporter as he was engaged. However, when reached out on Sunday, Mr. Piri promised to engage the contractor to ensure that the situation is avoided.
The reason why it has caused the area that side to be flooded is because they haven't put the culverts there. You know, when you do they do the culverts there, they need to make sure that they even work on the road. So I think this is something that we just have to urge the contractor to expedite, because as we receive more rains, I think our residents will be affected, as is the case today.
As things stand, the situation has not only left the residents in fear of property damage, but also waterborne diseases, among other disasters. For now, the residents can only hope that authorities, especially the area councillor, will intervene soon. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Cholera, a bacterial disease that causes severe diarrhea and can kill one within hours if left untreated, is one of Zambia's annual outbreaks. From October 2023, a total number of 1,385 cases were recorded and a total of 36 deaths were recorded. As of Monday, December 18th, Zambia's cholera cases had risen to 2,404 from 2,270 in less than 24 hours, with 57 deaths recorded since the disease broke out in January countrywide. It is for this reason some residents of Lusaka's Chilenje township are calling on Lusaka City Council to be consistent with their garbage collection in various areas of Lusaka. One of the residents spoken to by Camnet News, Ms. Exilda, says Lusaka City Council must heighten garbage collection as unattended to garbage is the main spreader of germs and bacteria causing cholera.
Chipempako kuba kanso makabeji aja vidoti vija bakazipitamo bakazipitenga every day then nakudoba vija vya matamuza abantu wena ngubalikere suta mabini pesa batata ya mulodi so bakanso bakankala maybe bini yankala 1 week 1 month jani matenda yonse ichizizi that's why cholera tima viliwana cholera but chipempako please bakanso makabeji aja madoti aja mabini aja bakazipitamo bakazibotenga every day ndeva mine vinga pangeko.
Another resident spoken to has encouraged the general public to take up personal hygiene precautions to protect themselves and their families against the cholera outbreak.
Keeping a clean manzi using a chlorine, gaulibe chlorine kwa boiling. Na kuklina kwa toilet ameti using tingatenge majensi ya cholera ndemo ametinga singizile mkolera osajja chimbala chokutukuno kujja chokujja chicho chiruomu osati chozizira chokujja chimbala chogona kunika kuti boiling ako ndipo kujja nga otherwise ngasuna chiboingeko kudwala diarrhea since diarrhea boya kumukoli ile tandia meleta cholera diarrhea.
Meanwhile, Lusaka City Council Public Relations Officer Chola Mwaba says Lusaka City Council has intensified sensitization and garbage collection in cholera-prone areas.
We have embarked on a robust cholera response exercise in all hotspot areas across the city. We are doing this through our public health department. We are disinfecting places such as markets and bus stations, and also distributing chlorine, and also ensuring that we collect garbage in areas that have heaps of garbage. That includes historical waste. The local authority is working around the clock to ensure that further spread of cholera in hotspot areas of Kanyama, Chawama, George Compound, as well as Matero Compound are kept. Our public health educators are also on the ground to sensitize the masses on the issues to do with the prevention of cholera in the city.
Cherish Siwote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Welcome back. You are watching the Camnet Breakfast Show Wednesday edition, Governance, Policy and Politics, with me, Patrick Soko and Nelson Zulu. And we are at that segment where we get to zoom in some of the stories that are making the headlines. And talking about that segment, we did look at two stories interesting that one borders on cholera and the other one is around issues pertaining to floods that are already ravaging our compounds in Lusaka, Zambia's capital city, and we call it the annual exhibition of failed engineering projects. And these projects have been failing since the first, in fact, before pre-colonial. In fact, they may have worked pre-colonial, but since Zambia gained its independence, these projects have been failing. If it comes to drainages have been constructed over and over again. Even when CDF was at 1.6 million kwacha, the major subject that was being talked about under the CDF was the construction of drainages in communities. Now, even now that we have 30.6 million kwacha, why should a drainage be a discussion given the huge resources we have under the Constituency Development Fund? CDF expanded under the United Party for National Development UPND administration. So that speaks to how are we prioritizing our issues, because these drainages can be catastrophic, Nelson. If we've seen how people have lost their properties, and we've seen now we have lost lives as a result of floods in let's say in Kamwala South. We did see that child because of that stagnant water, which they eventually turned into a swimming pool because of lack of amenities. If you ask me, in these communities we don't have amenities. We no longer have council facilities that would accommodate young people and be able to play. Let's say these play parks, and we had a story, interesting enough, in Luansha district, where a play park has been demarcated for allocation of residential plots. But that speaks to our priorities. You can't just be having housing everywhere. Life is a mixture of everything. Children need to exercise their right to enjoy their childhood. They need to play. They need to go. If there's a model of development that I would like in every constituency, it is a model that is under the Matero constituency, where we have the Olympic Youth Development Center. Yes. Imagine we have such a facility in every constituency. Imagine how much we can get our young people glued to sports. Imagine how Zambia would improve in terms of sports. Because in some of these wards, there's no facility where young children can play.
No facility at all. And I do remember that story that was also carried out in Chawama, where a basketball court that was there, that had been used for some time, and then being just encroached by some people, saying, no, this place is not supposed to be here now. We need to build. So it's more of just building and not considering the fact that there's also an aspect that you need some sort of recreation facilities. It's not all about maybe going to a lodge where you're going to find some sort of recreation facilities for your children to play and the like. I think we can have these within communities. And you talked about the issue of the Kamwala floods that we had last year. We saw even those floods being turned into now way of criminal activities, where if they kill somebody, they dispose them off in that water. And to some extent, it didn't make a lot of sense, because we can make a lot of sensible things that would add value in terms of what should be put on the table. We've seen also the council has been struggling when it comes to issues of collecting levies. Why not put up a recreation facility there where children are going to play, and then you get some little coins at the end of the day, you increase your taxi base. Those are things that can be done.
Yes, so I think overall it speaks to town planning and shows that we are not planning for that. And councillors need to be advising these people. No wonder our children are spending more time gambling and smoking. So and playing bonanza. So at the end of the day, we're not creating a productive youth. A youth who would be able to, there are those who can not even be in a center. Are you aware? Like and acquire a skill through CDF, but they can be able to utilize their talent by playing basketball, by playing football, volleyball, and be able to excel in that same sport. But how do we support that? We can only support that if our community system, the creation facilities are existent and they are well functioning. I'm happy that we have a good facility in Chawama, in Kuku area, where people can play football and so a bit of basketball if I check. But we need that in every ward. You understand? If we do that, then we keep our young people busy. We will avoid this unbecoming term that is junkies everywhere you go, junkies.
It's not all about even junkies at times. It's also about having a healthy nation, because they say having a healthy nation is amounting to healthy. I mean wealthy rather. So meaning that if these kids are exposed to activities that are of fitness in nature,
yes,
meaning that the health system is also going to be improved, because even now we've had cases where someone at 15 years, 21 years, they've been told that in a BP went back in the days.
Because they're not active. So we need to make sure that these facilities are available in this community. So we are running. Even Nelson Zulu, after knocking off work, can go and jog some. And you know, when we're talking about non-communicable diseases, they are very real and they are killing more people than even these communicable diseases. But we hardly pay attention to non-communicable diseases. And we are seeing a lot of the mushrooming of fast food restaurants, and that speaks to how our eating habits are, and it tells you that they are bad, and we are hardly exercising. And I'm happy that we, for example, Rwanda did come up with jogging lanes as part of road construction. So their roads will be able to accommodate the jogging lanes where people can be running without interferences from cars, bicycles, motorcycles. So you see, such a development, that's the development we need to be moving to even here as a country here in Zambia. So now, moving on, Nelson, we also had other interesting stories that we had as of yesterday. We had a story where unknown people in Lusaka's Kawata constituency are attempting to encroach on the land that reserved for expansion of Microsata Clinic in the Chalala area. A check at the land reserved for the construction of Microsata District Hospital found the markings of plot demarcations said to have been carried out on Monday. One of the concerned residents, George Simwamba, has appealed to the government to intervene in the matter before the lives are lost, as different people continue to flock to the area claiming there are 17 plots in the area. So that's a story backed by another story where Julius Kachidza of Lusaka's Chongwe district, who has been smoking tobacco for 18 years, has shared that quitting tobacco was not easy, but he did it for the sake of good health. Mr. Kachidza tells Camnet News that quitting tobacco is not easy, but that he managed to overcome the addiction through commitment, given the negative attributes tobacco has to health. The World Health Organization estimates that 8 million people die prematurely yearly from tobacco. So let's have a look at that. These are two stories, and we'll be back on the other side. Keep it on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Unknown people are attempting to demarcate Rufia Microsata Clinic land in Lusaka's Chala area into residential plots. This is despite the land in question being clearly marked, reserved for construction of Microsata District Hospital. These are markings of plots drawn on Monday by one of the individuals who are frequenting the land with titles.
Man came from what's this, Makeni. So he was saying, no, this land, and he was even making some demarcation. He almost got some people, they started digging the foundation, but what we did is we approached him, then we asked him a lot of questions, and upon asking him a lot of questions, then that's how he had gone. But
Mr. Simwimba, who is also a neighborhood health committee chairperson for the clinic, has pleaded with government to safeguard the land before the situation gets out of hand.
So we really need the government to intervene, because if the government doesn't come in, we will see bloodshed around here. So these people are just claiming to say this is their land and whatever. So they would sometimes come to the facility, and when they come to the facility, you find that we start exchanging words, bad words.
Area Councillor Ruben Mwenya, however, says there are residential plots at the area, but called on individuals to wait for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to give guidance on the matter.
Is that people cannot start putting up their structures before the boundary of the clinic is established. There are plots, legally plots that are there. It's just that the boundaries have not yet been established, and this is what I think we've told them, to wait for Ministry of Lands to be able to establish the boundary of the clinic. When that is done, then people can go ahead and start building. Of course, there's a part that was replant for the residential plots.
On Monday, Camnet News aired a story where some developers have encroached on land reserved for Section 3 clinic and play park in Rwansha on the Copper Belt. For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Every year, tobacco kills 7,142 Zambians, causing the loss of 104,611 years of life. 60% of annual deaths from tobacco are among individuals under the age of 70. Just like beer drinking, quitting smoking is not an easy undertaking. But Julius Kachidza of Lusaka's Chongo district is among the few who have managed to overcome the addiction through dedication to good health and well-being, as he explains.
So with regards to smoke, it's highly addictive. And you know, when something is addictive, it affects the human system. You know, so when the human system is addicted, it's difficult to come out. So it takes your whole being, you know.
After keeping up with the intoxicating sticks on his hands for 18 years, Mr. Kachidza chose to do away with the habit of smoking.
Tobacco, as you can see on the packages, it is harmful to health. So I would really not encourage people to smoke. I've got a number of friends, a number of maybe relatives who smoke. But I think as a good example, I smoked tobacco for about, I think for about 18 years or 20 years. But I think at the end of the day, by God's grace and just as personal commitment, I think I ended up smoking. It's over 20 years now that I stopped smoking. So tobacco is harmful. I think people should just give themselves, in mindset form, to just tell themselves that they can stop and they can manage.
It must be noted that 800 yearly deaths related to tobacco are due to second-hand smoke exposure, and Zambia's poorest and least educated are those most likely to consume tobacco. Mr. Kachidza attributes the problem to inadequate laws and poor implementation of existing ones.
It's more impactful, especially to those who smoke themselves. But it's unfortunate whereby it has got a secondary effect, to passive smokers, those who don't smoke. In Zambia, I think it's quite sad where our laws, I think our government passed a law where smoking was banned in public. But that law has not seen the light of day. It is just packed.
Zambia Alliance for Tobacco Control Secretary General Dr. Ted Mulenga says tobacco can lead to cancer-related diseases and infertility, among other consequences.
So these are the three major concerns of tobacco use. Namely, addiction. Secondly, causes cancer. Third, affects women's health and men's health, reproductive health. Three concerns.
Also has an influence on environment and on our economy. We have obviously the issue of the health harms of tobacco, but also the damage that it's doing to the environment, because there's so much pollution, okay? And one of which is really air pollution.
The major intervention to regulate the tobacco industry in Zambia is the long-awaited Tobacco Control Bill. And just like previous administrations, the United Party for National Development, UPND, has assured to enact the bill into law, but whether it will come to pass, for now, we can only wait and see. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
I was talking about government failing to plan for the curriculum development for 2024 and 2025. And for government to successfully implement this curriculum, we are proposing that government must prepare a supplementary budget in the first quarter of 2024. There must be a supplementary budget to support this very important process. Nakez is worried that the country is allowing some young girls to go into what is called weekly boarding. And this is exposing most of them to a lot of early marriages and early pregnancies. And government can stop this by building more boarding schools in the rural areas.
The Lusaka City Council has confirmed hiking market levy charges at CHELSTON Market. On Monday, CHELSTON Market traders complained over the increase in market levy from 200 kwacha to 800 kwacha due to the move by the occupants to rent out the shops. The traders who also claim ownership of the shops also accused area councillor of initiating the hike in an attempt to grab the shops.
800 sitingaikwanise 800 chabwera bwanji ati tinangena ife mu field umu kufufuza kwapezeka kuti imwe mubera kanso.
The structures were handed back to the previous occupiers, the previous owners, but the compensation issue was brought down because the compensation was in lieu of the new shops which were built.
Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Nyambe Burumba Eva says the hike has not only been done at the market and is aimed at curtailing subletting of the shops by the occupiers.
Yes, I can confirm that Council has increased rentals at CHELSTON Market, and that is from 220 kwacha to somewhere 800 kwacha. And the increments differ from market to market, so I can tell you that the increments are not only for CHELSTON, but in almost all the markets. Now, this is a situation where these shops were rented to some people who then sub-rented them to other people, and they were charging them, for example, 2,500, and also chosen to charge now the people directly.
For Camnet News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Welcome back. There you have it. Those are some of the stories that were making the headlines here on Camnet TV, and we were looking at quite a number of community stories. And talking about community, it's hard for you to separate community and the Lusaka City Council. And today on the Camnet Breakfast Show will be graced by Mr. Nyambe Bulumba, who is the Assistant Public Relations Manager for the Lusaka City Council, to help us discuss various issues that the council is mandated to do as per their responsibilities. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you so much for inviting us to this important program, and good morning to the viewers out there.
We are glad that you honored our invitation. And to just get started, first of all, Mr. Nyambe, this week we have had quite a number of stories. Let's start with the CHELSTON story, first of all, where we are seeing that there was an announcement of the upwards adjustment of the levy. That is from 200 kwacha to 800 kwacha, and that's and that was not well received by most of the occupants there at that market. First of all, we have to understand what really prompted the local authority to undertake such a decision.
Okay, thank you so much. Just to start with, you may wish to know that the Lusaka City Council is mandated to providing various services to the community, including markets. One of the markets is actually CHELSTON Market. And so for us to be able to provide such services, we actually use the same money that we charge these people in terms of rentals and the likes to be able to provide these services. Now, you may wish to know that, let me just give you the background of what is happening in terms of how these markets were being rented. So, for example, Mr. Soko, you come to Lusaka City Council to acquire a shop for rent, and then we give you this shop at 200 kwacha, which used to be the charge, 200 kwacha, and then you actually decide to sub-rent this particular shop to somebody at, for example, 1,500 kwacha. So that was the case, and the people were not happy with these charges. So what have we done as Lusaka City Council? We've actually chosen the lowest part of it. So, for example, this person is renting the shop at 200 kwacha from the council, and then they are charging somebody in the market 1,000 kwacha. So what have we done as the council? Said, okay, since they are charging you 1,000 kwacha, we are charging you 800 kwacha. So who is the marketeer going to choose between somebody who charges them 1,000 and the council that is charging 800 kwacha? It's obviously the council. So we are still on the cheaper side of it. So what we are doing now is that we don't want people to be sub-renting these shops. The council should be handling the business itself. People should be paying money direct to the council. That is where the idea is.
So if you
and before that, you know, to know that the people that are complaining now so much about this 800, it's not the tenants, it's the so-called landlords within CHELSTON market, because they know to say, I was charging people 200. Now that council has increased 800, for me to continue this shop, I need to be paying the council 800. So I was charging people 1,000. So since I'm paying 800, it means I need to increase now the charges to, let's say, 1,500. But will the marketeers be happy with that? They will not. So that's why the landlords are crying foul. So that's what the issue is.
So now, why doesn't the local authority work on an SI where the landlords can be able to pay a minimum amount, because that's a market, and the prices have to be as affordable as possible to the traders. Now, if people, because I own a shop and I want to gain more out of it, I put someone there who has the capacity to pay that money, and that also is a tantamount to exploitation. But however, how are you as a council trying to come up with a uniform position, because this is not only happening at that market?
Yeah, we actually, it is not only at CHELSTON where we have hiked the rentals or the levies as you may wish to call it. We've increased these levies in almost all the markets, but the charges differ depending on what market it is. So for example, if CHELSTON is 800, if you go to Intercity, you'll find that maybe it is somewhere 1,000. Yeah. Now, we've noted as the council that we are supposed to be increasing these amounts on a yearly basis, but it has taken us so much time because we were still studying the market to ensure that we come up with the right charges for the marketeers. Now, like I said, when you look at these traders, the traders themselves are not complaining. People that are complaining are the people that are subletting the shops. However, if these people who are subletting the shops, if they are still okay with the 800 that we've put across, it's fine for them to acquire the shops and sub-rent. But now, the bone of contention is between them and the people that will rent the shops from them. Because if you increase, as somebody who is sub-renting the shop, if you increase the charges from 1,000 because the council has increased to 800, from 1,000 to 1,500, are people going to accept that? That's where the issue is. Now, if you look at the 200 kwacha, what service can the council provide in a 200 kwacha? Because we need to make sure that the markets are clean. We need to ensure that the toilets and the bathrooms within these markets are maintained. Everything should be up to standard. So what service can we offer within a 200 kwacha?
Is that a monthly levy?
Yeah, this is a monthly levy.
That every shop has to pay?
Yes.
Now, besides that, there's that day levy that the council also collects. So is that also not sufficient?
If I'm not sure about how much that day levy is, but it's not more than 20 kwacha. It should be even 5 to 10 kwacha.
But they are paying it every day. So if they have many marketeers at the market, it accumulates to something tangible.
It accumulates something tangible, but there again, you need to look at the services that the council offers. This money doesn't go into somebody's pockets. It's meant for service provision to the marketeers themselves. So remember, maintaining and cleaning of these markets, it's not done on a weekly basis, it's done on a daily basis. So a lot of things are bought. For example, you are cleaning the toilet, you need a lot of things, cobra and other chemicals to make sure that the market is, the toilet is disinfected every day.
So the other argument would be that you are increasing this levy at a time when the country is confronted with economic challenges. What is the probability that everyone else would manage? Are you also creating a barrier to people who are able to trade? Because others would say we are still not able to afford that.
Yeah, like I said, the people that are saying, in any case, if you analyze very well, we have not increased. Like I said, the people that are saying this is too much are the landlords, people that have been sub-renting these shops. So, if you go there, you need to go there and find out from the people who were sub-renting the shops, how much were they paying? The landlord was paying 200 kwacha to the council. And then sub-rent the shop to somebody at 1,000 kwacha. We have not increased. We have reduced from 1,000 to 800 kwacha, so that the actual trader gets the shop. So we've seen a situation where the people that have been renting these shops are not into the business of being in the market and sell products from there. These are sub-shop owners, like somebody who build a house and sell, acquire money, buy a plot, build another one again and sell. These are the kind of people we have.
So you want to remove them from the...
Yes.
But why haven't you just also gone direct as the authorities to say, we don't, everyone who is owning a shop should be a person who is trading in the market? Because really, the council understand that you have a human face, in that you look at traders and the genuine traders, you look at the welfare of genuine traders. Why haven't you said, okay, if you have gotten a council from a shop from the council as Nelson Zulu, we don't want to find Mr. Soko trading there. Mr. Zulu should be trading there and should be paying the right levy, and no addition on top. And if Mr. Zulu is found, for example, renting out a shop to Mr. Soko at an exorbitant price than that of the council is recommending, it should be charged.
We have actually done that. We've engaged these so-called landlords before. We've had a lot of various meetings with them to bring them up to speed concerning this particular program. But we've noted that people have not complied. And so, with their non-compliance, the actual trader is not benefiting from these facilities. This is why we've come up with this idea. And definitely with this, we have a lot of people out there who've been wanting to acquire shops in markets. They've not been managing to pay the 1,000. Now that we've reduced from 1,000 to 800, even people who are outside the market will now come in. So this charge is actually targeting the vulnerable person out there to come in and acquire a space in market and start trading from there.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's move now to the issue of demolition. We've seen a number of activities when it comes to demolitions. It started with the area in Kamwala near Universal Church, Big Mosaic Market. Also, Kawata Market near the community hall was one of the area that was affected. And now, issues that have come out is that you, the same Lusaka City Council, were the ones that were collecting levies. You, were the ones that were also providing offer letters to these people. And yet now you are claiming that these people were illegally trading on those areas. What's the position?
Okay, so let's start with the one near Big Mosaic in Kamwala. Yeah. So that particular piece of land is privately owned. If you go there today, yesterday I visited the area, I was moving around, I was looking for something. The owner of the land has actually started building. He's putting roofing sheets around. I don't know what he used the roofing sheets around. I think it's to protect the building plan inside. So he has started doing that. He wants to construct something there. Now, the traders illegally started erecting makeshift stores on that piece of land. Now, it came a challenge for the owner to individually remove those people from the place. And so what did he do? This person went to court and obtained a court order, which he brought to Lusaka City Council. So what we do as Lusaka City Council, once the court order comes, we enforce a notice, of which we did. So an enforcement notice of 28 days was given to traders to ensure that they vacate the premises themselves before we come in as the council. And why do we give them the notice? We want to ensure that at least as the owner of the shop, you know what is in your shop. You can secure your goods. You not say, okay, here there's ABC, let me remove these. But when people come in to enforce the law, you know, a lot happens. It's very rare. It's very rare. I think it's only Lusaka City Council that which does that. It's very rare that people start caring about what is in the shop. For us, we do. We even remove your things and put them aside and then demolish. Then we take your goods to the Lusaka City Council. So if you go there, you find people that are collecting their merchandise. If it's other law enforcement agencies, they'll not even care about that. They'll simply demolish. So that's the whole essence of giving the notice to traders, to ensure that they secure their goods and services before we come in to demolish. And so the 28 days notice elapsed and people did not comply. So we had no choice but to send the council police and state police, so they were acting hand in hand. They had to move in and demolish these particular makeshifts. The same happened to Universal. The situation is the same. The land is privately owned also. So what those people were doing there was also tantamount to street vending. Coming to the issue of offer letters, that I strongly deny. The council has not in any way given them offer letters.
Who's breaching the system?
So we may have a situation where we have unscrupulous individuals. You know, a lot is happening now where we are, especially with the issue of technology. A lot has to be changed. People are forging papers here and there and give to these marketeers. Yesterday I had an interview with them on TV. They were asking me about the same. So what is happening? Whether you are trading in a place that is legal or illegal, the council will charge you money for garbage collection. That one we are going to charge you because it is your making. When you drop a paper here, you don't expect council to look for resources to come and pick that paper. You should pay for that particular litter. There was also an issue of council collecting levy from those people. It is neither here nor there. Council never collected any levy from them except garbage collection fee.
Who was signing on those papers that those people were producing?
A lot were signing. A lot of people have signed on those papers. And so yesterday I was looking at the receipts that people were showing on Diamond TV. The receipts were depicting different PO box numbers for Lusaka City Council. We only have one PO box number, but there are different PO box numbers
on the receipts.
Yes, on the receipts. Others will end with 8, others with 7, just like that.
Those traders have alleged that they occupied that space since 2018, and even when the council was moving in to demolish their structures, there was no whatsoever sort of communication that was provided, but you are indicating that there was a notice that was served to them.
Notice was given. The owner of the land, like I said, obtained a court order, which he presented to the council, and we issued an enforcement notice of 28 days, which was given to the traders, and so we only moved in after the period elapsed, and the compliance from traders was not given. That's the only time we came in. So our position is that the notice was given.
Would you also say that it was an irregularity for you to recognize illegal occupants to be paying for garbage? Because in the first place, there's a garbage bin for the Lusaka City Council. I understand beyond those who are trading outside, there are established businesses there. But even those that are not established now, they were also compelled to pay the garbage. I know there's a designated garbage point there. So why couldn't even the people collecting garbage would have informed management at LCC to say, but even those people who are vending there, they are paying this garbage fee, but don't you think that is endorsing an illegality? Because of that they felt, well, even the council is aware of us.
It doesn't promote an illegality. Like I said, it is within our mandate that whether you are in short, it's a charge. It's, how can I say it? It's a penalty that is given to whoever litters around. So not only in markets, even people that are moving around. Like I said, we have issues where implementation of these laws is concerned. We have to be very serious and make sure that we implement them. We have to make sure that law is enforced. Even somebody who is just moving around, not trading but littering around, has to be charged something. A penalty has to be there.
Let me also bring to your attention, Mr. Nyambi, so that probably there's been a very huge allegation pertaining to lack of proactivity by the council. Many people understand your mandate and what you are supposed to do as the local authority, but they will take advantage of your docility as the authority. Because why am I saying docility is that when those people were establishing the council planning department as the records of who owns that building, the council has the responsibility to keep vending, but that illegality grew, and the council, in few view of the council, not only the council but also Zambia Railways itself. If you see how the people have surrounded the rail line there, that is also a recipe for a disaster. But nothing has been done, and people say, it's okay, we can still do with these activities because probably the council is still sleeping. I'll give you an example of bus stations. There's another women bus station just here by Hilltop here. So people take advantage of lack of services that are initially supposed to be provided by the council and create informal arrangements that tends to just for them to just survive. But how is the council going to be quick to identify these and keep them? Another illegal bus station that is big is just behind the Levy Junction. Levy Junction, behind there, people get to
even just next to government printers.
Yes, so it is also mushrooming. You see, so those sir, are some of the issues where people tend to say, why didn't, if the council sees this, why are they not acting? So even when we're interviewing those vendors, they'll say, why they allow us to build up to the end? Because sometimes all those people are just on the receiving end. There are some people who are confident enough to do that, but them, they just come and say, no, just pay me this money, you get this shop,
you build,
no one is demolishing. So because they know that probably the council won't come for us. How are you working on that issue pertaining to proactivity? Because I understand most of the challenges the authority is facing have been inherited.
Yeah. Allow me to mention that the council of today is not the council of yesterday. What used to happen in the past pertaining to council is not what is happening now. Management has come in to make sure that we remain proactive as opposed to being reactive in certain issues. We are not stopping here. Work has just started now. We want to make sure that all illegal activities in the city, the council is there to make sure that they are erected. Everything is brought to normal. Sanity is brought back to the city. Now, you may wish to know also that when it comes to private lands, especially, like the one we've just discussed about, the council just doesn't move in because it has the mandate to do so, to remove illegal traders from those places. We have to work hand in hand with the owner of the land. So in the first place, it might have been the owner maybe who was not reporting to the council about the issue, because you may move in not knowing maybe there's an agreement between the owner and the traders. Not until the council consulted and then the owner had to come in to give us the correct position. And so we guided to say, in as far as we have the mandate, we don't just move in again. There must be a court order. So that is what we had to wait for us to move in. So in some of these places where you don't see the council moving in, it could be such issues. We are still waiting for such issues. But definitely, as it stands now, the council is ready to curb any legality that is taking place. If anything wrong is happening there, we haven't just visited you, we are coming. So people should be made ready that the council is on the way, including the bus station just behind you're talking about. We are coming, it's just a matter of time. So they should be ready for us.
Just speaking about issues of demolition, there's also an allegation that was leveled. At the time, some demolitions were being meted out at Kawata Market, just near the community hall, that land has been leased out to a Chinese national, and the traders were being evicted on the premise that the council wants this person to take charge. But even before you respond to that question, let's pick this call. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you are calling us from?
I'm calling from the
Are you able to turn down the volume of your TV set because we are getting feedback?
Okay. Hello?
Yes, hello, you can go ahead with your contribution.
Inquiry. Never say,
Inquiry was here.
Inquiry. Wa polisi katika government Rwanda ama kazi ya attention ya kwa kwa in town. No, but since kuna place sana kwa katika watu wa kwa tano. Wale kwa hiyo kwa tano mote kutukia mote kuchana na tuwalile kama tunasema ushauri no baada kwa hiyo kwa mama yake umesema tunataka na bado kwa Rwanda awe mote mali tunamaliza kwa mwani kula basi kwa hiyo kwa nje kwa tunataka ya kwanza kwa tuwalafu mtani au wale mbele na wale ipata kujana ukuja tunaleta sala tuwalafu mtani hawana ewa amalo ni kwa tuwalafu mtani tatu hapo kama ndio sasa kwa kushikisha
Kwatasha Basela, thank you for calling. Well, that was seemingly like one of the affected traders, Mr. Mbadea. I think you can give your perspective. They want you to help them with alternative trading places as the local authority. Is that also part of your plans?
Okay, before I respond to that, let me respond to Nelson. That the place around Kawata Community Hall was leased to
a Chinese
national. Okay, I'm not privy to provide information on that one, but I'll be able to make info available as soon as it is made known to me. But the issue here is that whether the land has been leased or not, the issue here is that if you are illegally there, you must be removed. Law must be maintained. So everyone has to follow the law. Nobody is above the law. So coming to the madam who just called, I don't know who she saw when she went to a certain market. We still have a lot of spaces in these markets. New Soweto is not full. We still have about 200 empty spaces. So we've always advised people that let them make sure that they see market manager. So I don't know who she saw. You go there and see the market manager. It doesn't even take long for you to be given the space in the market as long as it is there. in less than 3 days, you get the space as long as it is there.
The question has also been the same problem that you mentioned, where someone also wants to own a shop but they're not trading from there. Then you find that they're saying, these are my 3 stands, and they don't want to even occupy all of them.
It is the same situation like the one we have in CHELSTON. People are sub-renting these spaces. We have hiked the charges everywhere. So if you are able to pay for these spaces, then you are lucky. But in our hiking of these fees, like I said, we've made sure that it doesn't benefit the elite, but it benefits the actual marketeer, like our mother who just called here. These are the people we want to benefit. We are making sure that if somebody is sub-renting the shop at 1,500, we are bringing it back to 1,000 kwacha, so that our mothers are able to benefit from these particular stands in the markets. And you know why a lot of people have opted to go on the streets? It's because of the people that are sub-renting shops and the stands at a higher rate. So definitely you have somebody, you expect somebody to go back to the streets because they can't manage to pay this amount in the markets. So the 1,000 that they are not able to manage to pay, we are saying we are removing this, you are paying 1,000. So go to the market and acquire the stand. Yes.
Then the other thing, again, we would want to talk to, there are a lot of issues we can talk to, especially to the Lusaka City Council. But for today, we've limited just to 3 subjects. We've talked about 2 other subjects already. And the 3rd subject is the topical issue also bordering on Korea. So just bring us up to speed regarding what you are doing as the local authority pertaining to the cholera outbreak, because the Lusaka City Council plays a pivotal role pertaining to this cholera, because cholera has to do mostly with sanitation.
Exactly.
Yeah, and concerns have been that you're not proactive when it comes to collecting garbage, especially in trading spaces. The people you have contracted, are they doing their job? The CBEs.
Okay. So, as Lusaka City Council, we continue and we have continued to work hand in hand with relevant stakeholders, including the Ministry of Health, to ensure that the issue of cholera doesn't spread further, so that at least people's health should be protected. Currently, the council is on the ground sensitizing people. We have what we call at the council environmental health practitioners. Those are people that look at issues to do with the tiredness around the city. So these people are currently on the ground sensitizing and teaching people about the dangers of cholera, how to prevent cholera, all those things. We've also continued through our public health department to disinfect hotspot areas, including markets and bus stations, compounds like Kanyama, Matero, Chawama, and others. We are disinfecting. Before last week, we did disinfect Kulima Tower bus station, including the toilets, Intercity, Kulima Tower, and the New Soweto. And the program doesn't end there. We are moving throughout all the bus stations across the city and the compounds. We want to make sure that people are able to acquire these services. We are not only doing that, we are also providing or distributing chlorine to residents and marketeers. Just recently we distributed about 250 liters of chlorine to Lusaka Central Prison, popularly known as Chimbokaya, and the Kamwala Correctional Facility. We 2 days ago, the officers were in Berlin to make sure that at least people have these essentials. We have continued to educate people, and we still continue to call upon them to make sure that they always eat clean food, food that is also fully cooked, clean drinking water. Those that are not able to, we have a lot of challenges. It's not everyone that will be able to acquire chlorine, but we'll try to do everything within our means. But for those that may not be able to acquire these services, please make sure that the water that you drink is boiled, so that it's made clean and the virus doesn't come near your households. Pertaining to garbage collection, and maybe before I go there, we working hand in hand with the Ministry of Health. The council has received about 500 to 600 liters of chlorine to be distributed in these bus stations and the hotspot areas like the compounds I mentioned, the Kanyama, Makere, and Shawama. The people should acquire these chlorines so that at least they have water that is clean for drinking. Garbage collection, like I said, we are on the ground at the moment. We are not disputing the fact that we have piles of garbage everywhere. But our stand is to make sure that these piles are collected as soon as possible so that people have the environment that is befitting their inhabiting. Yeah. We are working hand in hand with the LUSAKA Integrated Solid Waste Management, because we've noted that on ourselves as the council alone, it's not easy to manage everything. We can manage, but managing it at once is not something that is easy. So we have made that sure that this company I mentioned is on board, so that we can quickly clear up the piles of garbage that we have around the council, around the city.
Very quickly, I know we was just supposed to discuss cholera as well as the demolition, but one topical issue has been that most of the times when the rainy season, there's a challenge when it comes to the drainage system as a whole in Lusaka. Any progress that has been made so far in terms of ensuring that areas such as Chawama, Kanyama that are prone to floods have got proper drainages?
Okay, before I touch on that one, still on garbage collection, we've noted as the council that a big number of residents in Lusaka have not subscribed to waste management. So there have been complaints from people that the CBEs are not collecting garbage from the households. In most cases, in most homes that we visited to just abreast ourselves with what is happening on the ground, we've discovered that most of the people that are complaining have actually not subscribed to garbage collection. And so the money that people subscribe with in terms of garbage collection is the money that the council uses to procure fuel and the other logistics for the vehicles to move around and pick that particular garbage. So we still have a clarion call to these people to make sure that they quickly subscribe to garbage collection so that vehicles can be moving around and collecting waste from their homes. With the issue of drainages, this has been the heated issue, especially last year. We had a lot of floods in Kamwala. People even were forced to vacate their premises because of water all over. Currently, we've actually contracted Zambia National Service to do the drainages in Kamwala South to ensure that at least water doesn't stay in people's homes for longer periods. When you have drainages around, it means water has where to go. We are also doing drainages in Shawama. As I was coming, I saw a story on TV about the drainage that is being contracted. I think should be in the area called Chimwemwe somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. We had no idea that the contractor had abandoned the works. So that is one of the key issues that came on that particular story.
Yeah, that's at Chawama near Patuka area, near Cheshire Homes.
Yeah, and it has just come to the attention of the council And I will make sure that when I reach the office, the information is conveyed to relevant officers so that they can go on the ground and check to see what is happening, and obviously get in touch with the contractor to see what the anomalies are for him not to have done that particular drainage. Yeah. Besides that, as the council, we continue to make sure that drainages in strategic places are unblocked, so that at least we can have a situation where water is freely moving to the catchment areas. Now, we've noted a situation where residents have continued with impunity to throw garbage in drainages. Like I said, people are not subscribing to garbage collection. What do? They wait for the rains to come. They keep their garbages at home. They wait for the rains to come. When rains come, they pick their sacks. They go and throw them in the drainages, hoping water will push all these sacks of garbage to where water is supposed to go. But that's not the case. These garbage end up blocking the drainages. So as the council continues nevertheless to make sure that the drainages are unblocked, to ensure that water is freely moving. Sure.
Well, we would like to thank you for finding time to be with us in the studio, sir. And I hope you'll be available when we call on you next time.
Thank you so much for inviting us to make sure that people are made known of what the council is doing at the moment. And we remain available whenever you need us. We shall definitely be here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Been having a conversation with Council or Lusaka City Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Nyambe Bulumba, who's just been fusing us with information pertaining to the current or the spate of demolition that has been witnessed in recent days, as well as how the City Fathers is positioning itself in terms of curbing the outbreak of cholera in the city. This and plus more is what we are discussing, and thank you so much for keeping us company and making sure that you are glued to the Camnet TV breakfast show on a Wednesday. It has been Nelson Zulu and Patrick Soko. Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel, and keep it right here.